Are you ready? It is time for another episode of Broad Street and Beyond, where everything Philly sports and Central PA is in play. We leave those New York sports in the penalty box. And now, here's Chase and JT.
And here we are once again. You gotta love that new intro. My buddy Hollywood put that new intro together. Loving that. So hopefully you folks are loving that brand new intro here for Broad Street and Beyond. Hopefully you had an awesome Thanksgiving last week. We are back at it here with another episode this week. Also keep in mind, we got some really good shows coming up here in the next couple of days, especially this week. You gotta tune in, right, JT? That's JT, in case you don't know who he is.
Some big bonus pods coming up next couple weeks.
Yeah, I guess we're going to call these the interview sessions, I guess we can call them, and they're getting underway here this week. We got one with the Flyers' longtime TV play-by-play announcer, of course, the legendary Jim Jackson. We're going to have him coming up here on the pod this week towards the end of the week. And then next week we got the Hershey Bears radio play-by-play man, of course, Zach Fish from right up the road here. We're excited to have those guys. Also got some other guests lined up that we're not going to tell you about, but those are our next two, and we are so excited to have both of them on here coming up here within the next week. So stay tuned to that. But here we are, another week.
They're a secret? The guests are a secret?
We can't tell anybody, but you know what I mean.
You're not going to tell them we got Luka Doncic on the pod coming up.
LeBron James, we got Michael Jordan coming up, and just to name a couple, right. You know what I mean? We're shooting low, JT. We're shooting low.
No, we're going to work our way up.
You had a great Thanksgiving, man. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
It was good, yeah. It was actually really good. Actually, I had two Thanksgiving celebrations, and neither, if you can believe it, neither were on Thanksgiving Day. One on Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, and another on Sunday. So we actually were just home chilling on Thanksgiving Day. We sat around with the wife and kids, and we binged the new episodes of Stranger Things.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
Oh,
one of those guys, huh?
Great.
Okay.
Yes, now I'm ready. I'm ready for the next three to drop.
I've never seen an episode.
Well, you've got
time.
Never
seen an episode.
You've got time.
No,
the next ones don't come out until Christmas Day. So as soon as we're done here, I want you to start binging.
Suspense is killing me. You know that, right?
If you do like 4 episodes a night, you'll be caught up by Christmas.
You think?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
If my math checks out on that or not, but we'll see.
I'm not going to do that. Well, welcome to the show. Another Broad Street and Beyond about to roll here. We're recording this on a Tuesday night tonight, so let's start it off. JT, you ready to rock with your 3 questions, get you warmed up? You're not always ready to go right off the bat, so we got to give you these 3 questions to get you rolling, get you warmed up.
Well, let's step it up here. I'm missing Sixers Wizards. Come on, let's go. Keep it moving.
Right. All right, man, first one. Do you have a favorite holiday tradition every year that you do?
Favorite holiday tradition? Yes. Every Christmas Eve. If I can't find it while it's live, I'll find it and record it. And I love to watch any version I can find of A Christmas Carol. It's something I did with my grandmother and my aunts when I was real young, and we used to do it. We used to watch it together every Christmas Eve. So even if I'm by myself, I still find time to watch it. Love to do it.
That's a good one. That's a good tradition, my man. Did you do any Black Friday shopping, Small Business Saturday, or Cyber Monday shopping? And if so, what was the best deal you got?
0 for 3, pal. I didn't do any of it.
Me too. Me too. Here's the last one, brother. Favorite genre of music to listen to?
Right now, I can't believe I'm saying this, because if you would have asked me this question 5-10 years ago, I would have said you're out of your mind. But right now, I would have to say country.
Country's big, man. Country is the hottest market out there, buddy. What was it before country?
Before country, I would probably say classic rock.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe 80s, and I still like to listen to like 80s, 90s music, because that's the era, decades I grew up in. But yeah, ever since, and I guess my job has a lot to do with it too. Working at Froggy, it's kind of it's drilled into you now, so it's just you can't get away from it.
That Chase guy's always in your head, I know.
Yeah,
sorry, man. I'm sorry for doing that to you.
Chase is always playing the hits.
That's right, buddy. That's right. All right, let's dive into those sports here. Another busy week since the last time, of course, we talked on the pod. Let's get right into the National Hockey League. The Washington Capitals off to a pretty hot start here of late. 7 of their last 8 they have won, playing some good hockey. Now in third place of the Metropolitan Division, into their California portion of their 4-game road trip. That begins here tonight. Then they fly to San Jose for a Wednesday date with the Sharks. Tonight they got the Kings. Caps got to win Sunday night versus the Islanders. Wasn't the prettiest, JT. Tom Wilson stays hot, 2 goals. One of those a power play goal and assist in the win. Better record at home for the Caps than on the road. Game number 2 of 4 here on the road for the Washington Capitals, JT. They've been playing some pretty good hockey here of late.
Yeah, and I think we were just talking a few weeks ago. I think they were near the bottom of the division, but, the bottom of the division, I don't know what that really means right now in the Metro, just because of how tight the division is.
Sure.
I had a chance to catch a little of that game over the weekend against the Islanders. Logan Thompson made some big saves early in that game, especially in the first period. The Islanders had a couple of big scoring chances. He made one. I don't know if you saw it there. It was a 2-on-1 with Barzal and Anders Lee, and he got across and got, I think it was his left pad to make a great kick save, and he had his glove there too. He made a couple others that I'm remembering, and then finally the Caps got rolling a little offensively. They had this one goal. I guess it was on the power play. It was such a great setup. Obviously when you watch the Caps, you're always looking for that. You're always looking at Ovechkin over in the dot to get it over to him for his patented one-timer to blast it home.
Netter. His empty netter.
Or his empty netter. Yeah, that's
all
true.
he's been getting of late.
But they threw one over to him, and you were expecting a one-timer, and it ended up being like a setup, almost like a slap pass right to the side of the net, and Tom Wilson was right there for an easy redirect. It was a thing of beauty, and we've talked about how their defensemen all seem to get involved into the offense. I mean, Jacob Chikrin has been
incredible,
red hot, and some of these other guys that we've talked about before, like Connor McMichael, Alexei Protas, has been terrific for them. And I guess it's 8 of 9. They're going for their 5th win in a row tonight against the Kings, and I mean they're as hot as anybody in the Metro Division, and really as hot as anybody in the Eastern Conference. I mean, and if you think about it, there's probably only 2 teams in the league right now that are starting to separate themselves from everyone, and that would be Colorado and Dallas. Everyone else, I mean, if you look at all the other divisions, everything's kind of bunched together, and there's a lot of parity going on here, at least the first couple months of the season.
That Metropolitan Division, man, real close in that division right now. The Caps win their 4th straight game, which is their most that they've won so far this season. Also winning, like we mentioned, 7 of their last 8. They play 4 games here in the next 6 days. Logan Thompson's been absolutely incredible. I mean, it's almost like the same story for the Washington Capitals that it is for the Philadelphia Flyers, that goaltending has been keeping them in a lot of these games here of late for the Washington Capitals after their big win. Of course, the other night, Toronto, they had a comeback win on Friday night, and then they also had a huge win where they honored, of course, Alexander Ovechkin against Winnipeg last Wednesday night, right before the Thanksgiving holiday. But they've been playing some pretty impressive hockey. A lot of those guys starting to kind of step up. Ethan Frank is starting to play a little bit better, too, in that lineup now, kind of getting his rhythm and everything else in that he didn't have at the beginning of the year, so we'll see how he does there. But John Carlson, and like you mentioned, man, the defensemen have been really playing some good hockey for the Washington Capitals, and I think the past couple of games that's starting to show.
I think if you look at, you're comparing them to the Flyers a little bit, I would say, both teams have good, strong goaltending right now. More so for the Flyers when Vladar's in the net. I think the Caps have it when they have play both LT and Charlie Lindgren.
Sure.
I think the biggest difference, though, is that Washington is stronger, I think, and more stout at the blue line. So I think if you're looking from the goaltender out, I think they're a little stronger than the Flyers. I think that's been one of the biggest differences. I think they have they have a little more depth than the Flyers do. But yeah, I'm interested to see how they come out of this road trip. By the way, I forget which game it was. They had these uniforms on. They were really sharp. It was it was like the '90s Caps logo with like the eagle, I guess the bald eagle or whatever. But the colors,
Screaming Eagle.
The Screaming Eagle. Is that what it is? Is that what they call it?
That's what they call it. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what you're referencing. Yeah.
So it was the Screaming Eagle on the jersey, but then the colors looked more like the old Caps colors of the '80s. Like that was the color scheme. I don't know if you saw those or not. They look really good.
I think that was Wednesday night against Winnipeg. That's when that was the same night they honored Ovechkin, right? When they wore those.
It was, but I feel like they might have they might have worn those another night. I'm trying to remember, but yeah, look them up. They're really sharp, and I fully expect that to be added to your wardrobe very soon.
They ain't gonna be added to my wardrobe. Not to my wardrobe, buddy. Not to my wardrobe. If it ain't black and gold, it ain't getting added to my wardrobe in the NHL.
Well, but you have a connection to the Bears, and the Bears have a connection to the Caps. Yeah. You don't have to wear it. Just hang it in the closet.
Have it on display back here, right?
Yeah, hang it in the background.
Nice. We'll see what the Capitals can do. It is hard to believe, though. 2 weeks ago, we were just talking how they were sitting there in last place and not really moving up in the standings there. And now the Capitals currently in third place tonight against the L.A. Kings. Switching gears over to those Pittsburgh Penguins, of course. Big game last night against the Philadelphia Flyers. They've been catching some heat here of late, too. They've won 3 of their last 4 since we last spoke and got together. Huge rivalry game last night against the Flyers. Got the best of the Flyers, of course, scoring those 3 power play goals last night. Flyers struggled throughout, but the Penguins starting to click a little bit. A lot of guys last night from the Pittsburgh Penguins really starting to contribute. And again, Sidney Crosby burns the Philadelphia Flyers, and he just burns the Flyers each and every single year, and no different last night, JT.
Yeah, he almost had another hat trick. I think he's had 2 or 3 hat tricks in his career against the Flyers. The Penguins, the previous 2 games, so they had that win several days ago against the Blue Jackets. Now, that was a game in which they were trailing 3-1 going into the third period, and they came back and they ended up winning that game in overtime. Then they had a real stinker a couple days later against the Maple Leafs, 7-2. So, as a Flyers fan, I'm thinking, well, maybe the Flyers have a chance to make some hay coming off of this road trip to play, going against the Penguins. But the Penguins. The biggest difference last night was the Penguins dominated on their power play. The first goal was a little unfortunate. If you're a Flyers fan, great. If you're a Penguins fan, there was a shot. It might have been Rust where it looked like Vladar had the save and he couldn't quite squeeze it, and there was a big rebound out into the slot, and Crosby was able to clean it up. The Flyers had tied it up, but the Penguins, I think they ended up with 3 power play goals on the night, and they even had a goal. Malkin had a goal early in the third period that was disallowed because of goaltender interference. The Flyers looked flat, and the Penguins, I think, needed that game after what happened against the Maple Leafs. So we'll see. That now they've nudged ahead of the Flyers. The Flyers were in third. Now they're down to fourth. And again, we keep talking about this with the division as close as it is right now. A little bit of a hot streak, a little bit of a cold streak is the difference between anywhere from third to last place.
Indeed it is, and it's like you mentioned, after the Penguins losing that game to the Maple Leafs, you would have thought, Flyers got them right where they wanted them, but last night was not the case. I mean, that penalty kill for the Flyers has been pretty decent all season long up until that point last night, and giving up those 3 power play goals. Of course, Malkin 2 assists in that one as well. 3 power play goals, like we mentioned, the big difference, but that game could have been even worse than what it was with some of those saves that Vladar was making in net.
Yeah, the Flyers were giving up a lot of real estate on the penalty kill. They seemed like they were sagging back a lot, and there was a lot of open space for the Penguins to operate, and that really, you really saw that on I think it was the second power play goal, or the goal that made it 3-1, the one that Russ scored. It looked like he had a lot of room to walk right in, and he picked a great spot. I think Vladar was screened by Travis Sanheim, But, credit to Rust. He put it in a perfect spot and just, sniped it home. The other thing to come out of that game last night, Tyson Forrester for the Flyers, who actually scored the lone goal for the Flyers later in that period when it looked like the Flyers might be building some momentum. He took a slap shot, a one-timer, and immediately dropped his stick and grabbed his shoulder and went off the ice. And now they came out and announced today that he's out 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, upper body injury.
They're just calling it an upper body injury. It seemed to be something with his shoulder, so I don't know if it's like something he tore something in his shoulder, something maybe, I don't know, rotator cuff, torn labrum, dislocated shoulder. Who knows? But it looked like that's where he was grabbing. But I don't think they're ever going to come out and say it. They're just going to, continue to list it as an upper body injury. So that's a bad break for the Flyers because he looked like it was really starting to click for him.
Yeah, not somebody you want to lose. I mean, he is leading the scoring for the Philadelphia Flyers with 10 goals this season. Do you think, and how do you think that's going to affect the Flyers here moving along here without Forrester and being out for 2 to 3 months?
Well, they're probably going to, I think for now they're going to resist looking down the Lehigh Valley for some help. I think they're just going to try to see, maybe somebody like Nikita Grabenkin, who has been relegated to fourth line and has been a healthy scratch a lot. Maybe he gets some more minutes now. Maybe he can bump up somewhere into the third line, and we'll see. I mean, there's gonna have to be some guys that are going to pick up the slack. Travis Konechny, Matvei Michkov. Those guys are going to have to do a lot more. Bobby Brink. They're all going to have to pick up the slack. I don't know. Maybe eventually they would. Later on down the season, if it looks like they need a spark. I mean, there are some guys that they have their eye on down with the Phantoms, particularly Alex Bump, who's been playing really well as of late, and Denver Barkey's another one. So they could look to the Phantoms to give them some help, but yeah, just really unfortunate for the Flyers and unfortunate for Tyson Forrester because he had there was a question whether he was going to start the season on time. He had an issue with his elbow that happened during World Juniors, in which ended up being an infection in his elbow. He dodged a bullet there, and then he was out for a couple of games earlier in the year where he took a puck off of his ankle, caused him to miss. I think it was like 3-4 games, and then he came back and everything was clicking, and now this happened. So. It's unfortunate for him. Hopefully, whenever he comes back at some point, he can, pick up the slack a little bit and help them out. But it's really going to be a big blow because we were talking about the Penguins and the Caps. I just think those teams, even though the Flyers are hanging with them, those teams in the division, I think the Flyers really need more depth. I don't think they have enough scoring depth right now that maybe the Penguins and the Caps do, and so we'll see what happens. They're back in action. I believe the Flyers are in action tomorrow night, Wednesday night against the Sabres. So we'll see what happens.
Penguins take on Tampa Bay down in Florida next up for the Pittsburgh Penguins, but the Forrester injury, something to watch here for the Philadelphia Flyers because that looked brutal. As soon as he went off the ice, as soon as he had that slap shot, he immediately went off the ice last night, and it's going to be some serious concern here for the Philadelphia Flyers. Obviously, we'll talk more with Jim Jackson about that, of course, this coming week when we have Mr. Jim Jackson here on the show. Of course, the Flyers TV play-by-play announcer, have him on later on this week. As we switch gears over to the American Hockey League, Wednesday night, not the greatest showing for the Hershey Bears. The night before Thanksgiving, taking on the Penguins. Penguins jumped out early in that one. Saturday night, got a little bit of revenge on the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. Then again, the Bears come out a little flat on Sunday against a very, very good team in the Laval Rocket, losing that one. So finishing up the weekend with only one win out of 3 there.
I caught a little of it. I guess that I didn't see a whole lot of the game on Wednesday. I'm guessing that first period was what really did them in. Wilkes-Barre Scranton, they got 3 goals in the first period, so that was an uphill climb. I wasn't surprised to see them rebound the way they did on Saturday night, getting the 6-2 win. Obviously the Penguins are a really good team, and you're not gonna I think sweep 2 those games, but I really liked the way they bounced back on Saturday night, getting the 6-2 win. The one that I really would have liked to have seen them get was that game on Sunday against Laval. I know they're a pretty good team. They're up near the top in the North Division, and the Bears got off to a good start in that game on the goal by Belpedio, but yeah, and then they fell behind, and then they were just kind of trading goals. I really would have liked to have seen, the Bears just kind of find a way to scratch that game out in front of their home crowd. I know they were. I think they were missing some guys. I think they were missing some guys. Was it Wednesday night or Saturday night? I think Smallman was out of the lineup, and so was Strome.
Trinyaev was called up to Washington on Wednesday too.
Is that
he hasn't been back yet either, so that hurt them. Well, he's been having a pretty good season too.
Right, he's been off to a really good start. Obviously, things look like they're really coming together for Ilya Protas. He's playing really, really well. So
top rookie in the AHL. Top rookie in the AHL.
I think they just got to, hopefully they can weather this. Now they got Wilkes-Barre Scranton again coming up this weekend, and then the Phantoms. So this is part of that long homestand that we've been talking about. And again, this is going to be a real test to see where the Bears are at. I think they played pretty well for the most part in the early part of the season, but now they've got a lot of games against some really good teams. Wilkes-Barre Scranton coming up on Saturday night at Giants Center again, and then the Phantoms coming up on Sunday. They've held their own. They've done pretty well against the Phantoms, but I still think Lehigh Valley is a dangerous team. And then, of course, they got 2 games with Providence and then Charlotte. So I think this is where we're really going to see what the Bears are made of, and hopefully they can avoid the injury bug, and maybe by that time Trinyaev makes his way back down to the Bears.
On that game on Sunday against the Rocket, they came out to that 1-0 early lead, and then the Rocket came right back and scored 2 less than a minute apart in that second period to take that 2-1 lead. Also, Grant Cruikshank from the Bears, he had a pretty good game, scored a shorthanded goal, make it 2-2 late in the second. And then Laval just came right back, took a 3-2 lead in the third. Cruikshank scored early to tie it in the third. They didn't quit. The Rocket came right back middle of the third to win that game, pretty much 4-3 to close that out. Stevenson, he made a lot of good saves again in that game, keeping them close. Bjorklund again, too. He made some key saves the other night as well to keep them in the game. But the Hershey Bears cannot afford to be getting down in games. A young team like that, they haven't been able, except for maybe 1 or 2 games this season, put together a full 60 minutes of hockey. You saw that over the weekend. They played about 40 minutes of good hockey on Wednesday night. You could say it was 20 minutes of good hockey, but the other part was not so good. They keep turning pucks over in the offensive zone, too, for the Hershey Bears. It shows they're a young team, and a lot of those other guys they got to be counting on to contribute in the scoring as well. You're getting the same guys scoring night in and night out. Sam Benton,
right.
He's starting to show a little bit of a rhythm now, too, for the Hershey Bears. He showed a little bit of that on Sunday, but you can't keep having the same guys score night in and night out like Protas, Miroshnichenko. He's been scoring a couple goals. Belpedio as well. A lot of those guys. Crystal, you're seeing a lot of those guys scoring night in and night out, but the Bears are still putting it together. I think a lot of people would be surprised at where they're at right now in the standings this early in the season and how good they have been playing here the past couple of games.
I really would have liked, again, going back to that Laval game, especially when Cruikshank got that shorthanded goal right towards the end of the second period. I thought that was going to be the goal that gave to me it felt like it swung the momentum in the Bears' favor. And then they fell behind again in the third period, fought back. Yes, so again, I really want to see what happens here over this next week or so with all these home games, at Giants Center. But again, they are playing some of the best teams in the division with Providence and Wilkes-Barre Scranton. And again, I still think that Lehigh Valley has the potential to be a really dangerous team. They had a knockdown drag-out with Laval on Saturday night. Yep. Laval ended up coming back to win that game in a shootout. And then they proved their toughness on Sunday by rallying to get that game against the Bears.
Yeah, and the Bears can score in bunches, too. They showed that the other night when they scored 6 goals against the Penguins. So they got the offense to do it, but they got to shore up in that offensive zone, too, when they do get the puck. And the puck control has not been the greatest here for the Chocolate and White up there in Hershey. We'll see this weekend. 2 games and 2 nights for them. Of course, up at the Giant Centers. They're home until December the 20th. Let's go over to the college football scene. Of course, Penn State closing out their regular season against Rutgers in a game that, my goodness, there was a lot of points scored. There was a lot of yards tallied in that game. But in the end, the Penn State Nittany Lions come out on top. They're now bowl eligible, JT. What bowl are they going to? What'd you think of the game? And we're still trying to figure out who's going to be the head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions yet.
Boy, that game on Saturday, man, oh man,
Oof.
there certainly wasn't a lot of defense to be had there.
No,
and
sirree.
of course, the game turns in the fourth quarter on a defensive score, on a
amazing,
drive that it looked like Penn State wasn't. I mean, it looked like Rutgers was gashing them again. They kind of were gashing them all afternoon. Yeah. But then they got the big fumble return for the touchdown, and then they had the big stop on fourth down. It was good. It was good for them to end the regular season the way they did with 3 wins. For Terry Smith. And as far as what bowl game they go to, I keep hearing the Pinstripe Bowl, perhaps the one they play at Yankee Stadium.
Maybe against Pitt.
Possibly against
Could
Pitt.
Be against
that
Pitt.
would actually be pretty. That would be pretty cool. They haven't played Pitt for a long time. I mean, not since 2017, 2018, something like that. I know in 2016, when Penn State won the Big Ten title, they actually lost to Pitt that year in the non-conference. That was when Pitt had James Conner as their running back, but Penn State went on to win the Big Ten championship that year, and I think they might have played the next year at Beaver Stadium, and then that was it, I think, for the brief little 2-game series that they had. So that would be cool. That would be cool if they would get a chance to play Pitt in the Pinstripe Bowl. That would be something a little different. Nice to see Katron Allen go over 4,000 yards. Yep. The week before he set the all-time career rushing mark at Penn State, and then Nick Singleton got the early touchdown, and he set the all-time touchdown record, or broke the all-time touchdown record for Penn State. Boy, I don't know who their coach is going to be. I mean, it looks like all these names are coming off the list. I guess yesterday or the day before, it looked like they were going to get Sataki from BYU, and then all of a sudden, all these wealthy BYU donors and boosters, including
There's money for
the owner of the Crumble Cookie franchise, stepped in. It was like the Penn State. It was like Nittany Nation against the Mormon Nation, and it was like. You know what I mean? It was like this brewing holy war or something. I don't know what
Before
was happening.
Before you sign on the dotted line, here's some more money for you. What do you think?
Yeah.
Will you accept our offer?
I tell you what, Penn State has gotten a lot of head coaches in college football awfully rich these past couple of months. I don't know. I mean, it's like with every name that Penn State tries to get and comes off the board, you almost wonder. You almost wonder if it's going to end up being Terry Smith by default. I've been getting, I've been in this thread with my text bros, and one of them is, we'll call him TBL, and he has been saying they should just hire Terry Smith, and I don't want to hear it. I want a big swing, but I think he's broken me down finally. I think I could warm to the fact that it could be Terry Smith. By the way, I think it would be a blast to get the Tex Bros on this pod, but I think that would be a really fun podcast. But I couldn't do that to you because you would have a nightmare editing. You would have a nightmare editing that down. There's one of them. One of the Tex Bros drops an F-bomb every other word, and so I couldn't.
Hey,
do
it's
that
on
to you.
YouTube. We might not have to worry about that.
Well, I know,
might not
but
have to worry about that.
You'd never. It would take you forever to edit that down in post production. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess. I mean, there's there's Brian Hartline. I don't know if that's cooled down.
They keep bringing that up too. Yeah.
Yeah, there was Chesney was another guy, but now it looks like he's headed to UCLA. And they're getting killed in the recruiting battle right now. They have basically no recruits signed for next year with signing day coming up here, or was today's signing day? I think.
That was today. Yep.
Yeah, and all the you had all these guys that were not. It turns out they weren't committed to Penn State; they were committed to James Franklin, and there's been several commits who have flipped from Penn State to Virginia Tech to go with Big Game James down in Blacksburg.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that? I mean, Pat Kraft seems like he just wants to hit the home run, man. He's not worried about bringing somebody internal. He wants somebody that's going to be that big name head coach to bring in and have that name. But I think as we keep going down the road here, it's been almost 50 days now since James Franklin has been been let go at Penn State University. They don't have a plan. Terry Smith, I would say, is probably going to be the next football coach at Penn State University. I mean, all points and all signs are starting to lead to Terry Smith. But you would have thought that by this week, I mean, there was a lot of rumors around there on social media saying today was going to be the day. Penn State was going to have this press conference. Today was going to be the day they were going to announce a brand new head coach. And I think here before the bowl game, and I said at the last podcast, I mean, they have got to make a decision before this bowl game happens. I mean, it's like you just mentioned, they keep losing recruits left and right, not only to James Franklin, but to all these other schools that have the bigger programs, and this one just seems like it's still in kind of a disarray without a head football coach and what direction these players are going to go here as they look towards next season now.
That actually, that would make another great smash burger bet between you and I.
What's the bet?
The bet would be,
let's see if I'm dumb enough to make another one.
You take Terry Smith, and I take the field.
You take the field. Okay.
Right. So if
I got you.
So if it's Terry Smith, you win, and if anybody other than Terry Smith, I win.
I don't know if I could go through another shameful smash burger bet, man, and lose another
one.
One's.
I don't know. That one's. That one's to me. That one's is more of a toss up than the one about.
Yeah, it is.
Than the one about Penn State winning another game the rest of the season.
No, I'm going to take you up on that, man. I am going to take you up on that smash burger bet only because. I seriously believe. I mean, you've seen it after some of those games now, the past 3 games that they've won. Pat Kraft has been there every single one of those past 3 games, and after every game, he's there hugging Terry Smith. The players are right in his face saying, "You've got to hire this guy." And I think, I mean, they have got to be getting pressured by a lot of alumni, a lot of those guys that are on the board and up there, but. I mean, no. I said it this week at my other job. I say, if you do hire Terry Smith, the only drawback, if he does not come out and win any of those big games, say against the Michigans of the world, the Ohio States of the world, Oregon, he still doesn't beat them, he's going to follow the same exact path that James Franklin has followed. And do you really want to see a guy like Terry Smith, who's been with that program, loves the program, dedicates his entire life to that Pennsylvania State University, to be let go and have to go through what James Franklin went through? Obviously, a little bit of a different story with him actually going there and playing for Penn State, but just the admiration that he has for Penn State, I don't think I want to see that happen to Terry Smith if he does take this head coaching position.
One of my other buddies texted me, one of the other texters, and said, "What if Ole Miss now hires Terry Smith?"
Yeah, well, yeah, that could happen.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen.
I mean, how funny would that be? Seriously, if somebody comes, it doesn't. I don't think it's going to be Ole Miss, but what if someone comes and grabs Terry Smith and says, "Boy, I like what you've been doing at Penn State. I really like the way you handled, the fallout from James Franklin getting fired. I like the way the team responded to you. Why don't you come down here and lead our program?" Wherever that would be.
It's not completely off base, man, for you to say that. I mean, if they don't hire Terry Smith, there's got to be other ADs that are in the Division I college football right now looking at Terry Smith and saying, he might be a good fit here for us at our program, and if Penn State's not willing to give him a job, we'll give him maybe a head coaching job somewhere else. And albeit I don't know if he'd take that, but
yeah, he might not. Maybe he doesn't want to coach anywhere else. Maybe maybe he just wants to be here at Penn State, regardless of what happens.
Yeah, but don't you think Penn State needs to make a decision before this bowl game happens?
Oh, they needed to make a decision yesterday, and I think that was the whole reason that Pat Kraft decided to fire James Franklin when he did. I think he wanted to give himself a big head start on the coaching search, but it's just, to me, and again, there could be stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, but it doesn't feel like there's a plan. There could be a plan that we don't know about, but it just doesn't feel that way. Now, one of the more interesting things about this whole situation that I happened to read about, Todd McShay was on the Bill Simmons podcast, and he talked about the one of the big things going on behind the scenes is that Franklin's agent, Jimmy Sexton, is making life miserable for Pat Kraft because of the fact that he has all this animosity towards Pat Kraft for the way that he got rid of James Franklin. And Jimmy Sexton is the agent for a lot of other big-name coaches, including Kalen DeBoer at Alabama and Signetti, and there's a couple others too. Lane Kiffin, he's also Lane Kiffin's agent. And any time that Penn State is sniffing around one of his guys, he makes sure to get them an extension of where they are.
I'm sure.
Now Sataki at BYU is not a Jimmy Sexton client, but again, the donors and the wealthy donors and the alumni, including Mr. Crumble Cookie, stepped up, and it looks like they're going to get Sataki some more money to stay at BYU and to keep all the Mormons happy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen up there at Penn State, but the decision hopefully is going to be made this week as far as who their next head coach is going to be. Or Penn State is going to look very bleak next year as far as players, recruits, and that sort of thing, because they it's like you said, they needed a plan yesterday.
What about Chip Kelly?
No.
What's wrong with Chip Kelly?
JT.
Come
on,
remember
JT.
when he was at
Chip
Oregon?
Kelly.
He was like that.
Oh,
he was like the hottest commodity in college football. Remember that?
Did he just get fired from somewhere in the NFL again? Did he
yeah,
just get
the
fired?
Raiders canned him as the offensive coordinator.
Listen, if you can't be the Raiders offensive coordinator, dude, and you just got canned from that job, you should not be coaching anywhere at this point.
Maybe you'll become the Eagles offensive coordinator.
Hey, very well could be. We will get to those Philadelphia Eagles here in a minute, but we are switching gears from football over to basketball. The up and down season for the Philadelphia 76ers continues. Thank goodness the NBA Cup is finally over. They didn't have much of a chance in that. They got blown away.
No NBA Cup. Darn it.
Nope, you ain't winning the NBA Cup. They lost, of course, to Atlanta in that high-scoring game, 142-134 in double overtime, 34. Then the two NBA Cups, the finale, where they took on the Brooklyn Nets. They won that one 115-103, but that first game against the Magic, boy, they didn't have any chance in that game against the Orlando Magic, as they got destroyed, 144-103.
They got run right off their home court in that one. That was pretty ugly. Yeah, the Sixers. I mean, they've settled into, I think, what they are. You don't know who's playing from one night to the next. I guess Embiid is out for tonight.
That's what they said. Yep.
I just happened to glance at the score as we were talking, as we're recording this. They're up 12.
What's the update?
They're up 12. The Sixers are up
12. Nice.
But I didn't look to see who was playing. It's like, I watched that game on Sunday night. That was actually really entertaining, that double overtime loss against the Hawks.
Yeah, it was.
I still can't believe Maxey missed those two free throws at the end of overtime that would have sealed the game, put him up 4 with 4 seconds to go.
The lead. Yep.
Oh my goodness! I can't believe they didn't nail that game down.
He's been pretty good at the free throw line all year long, man. And missing those free throws did not help them. And you said it would have gave them a 4-point lead at one point in overtime, and he couldn't get it done. Paul George had a pretty good game with 16 points in that one, but those key free throws were the difference. I mean, he did have a clutch shot though to force the overtime, and one that gave them the lead in the first overtime too. But missing those two free throws was not good for Tyrese Maxey.
It's like when you watch him, you're not sure one game to the next what the roster's going to look like. Embiid, he plays when he plays. Paul George plays when he plays, and To me, in the long run, obviously this has to be Tyrese Maxey's team with hopefully
Sure.
VJ Edgecombe coming along with him and developing as the season goes on. But, it's like when Embiid's in there, the game kind of slows down. When Embiid looks pretty good, pretty decent offensively, but defensively he's just not what he was, or at least not what he, maybe he could be better later in the year, but right now it looks like, he doesn't look like he wants to let me just say this, it just looks like he's not the rim protector that he once was and the rebounder that he was, the shot blocker that he was.
He's starting to look old. He's starting to look old.
That becomes a real liability for them. He took some and he looked gassed in that down the stretch. Yep. He played some in the overtime and just looked like he was completely out of gas. And then I think they went above what his minutes restrictions were, and he didn't play at all in the second overtime. But yeah, it's just like, to me, it's like if Maxey doesn't have a huge game, and poor Maxey, he's got to play like 40-some minutes a game. If it goes to overtime, he's playing 50-some minutes. I mean, you worry that guy's going to get worn down as the season goes on. I think this is just going to be an up and down type season. I think there's clearly some teams that the Sixers are going to have no business winning against. There's enough bad teams that I think they can be around 500, maybe a couple of games above 500. Who knows? I mean, right now I see them possibly slotting in as an play-in team, and I guess we'll just have to wait until next year for another NBA Cup. Just
you ain't getting it this year. We keep on hoping, JT.
Before we're 60, Chase, they're going to win an NBA Cup. I can feel it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now let me ask you this: if the Sixers win an NBA Cup, is that worthy of a parade?
No. No. Maybe a parade
for the Cup.
Maybe a parade around the concourse. That's about it.
All right.
In the arena. That's about it.
That's a good compromise. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, they did look gassed though as they went into that double overtime on Sunday night. They looked tired. They really did. And like you said, Maxey's playing just a ridiculous amount of minutes right now for the Philadelphia 76ers. That can't keep happening and keep going on the rest of the year. Right now at the half, it's 66-54. Maxey has already turned in 16 minutes out of the 24 minutes that they play in the first and second quarters. So he's at 15 points right now. Paul George got 8. Edwards with 9. Walker's got 8 right now. So at the half, I mean, they definitely need to win this game. I mean, the 3 and 16 Wizards, they can't beat them. But it's going to be that way the rest of the
Wizards are coming off. Yeah, the Wizards are coming off a win last night over the Bucks. Actually, that was a bit of an upset. So you've got the Wizards playing their best game of the season, and now they're on the second end, the back end of a back-to-back. I mean, to me, this should be an easy win for the Sixers, but you never know, man. It really would have been nice to get that win over the Hawks. Like I said, they had it. It was within their control, and the Hawks. I don't know how much you've seen of the Hawks this year. They're a much improved team. Actually, they've been playing a lot better with Trae Young out of the lineup. And they look like they could be a team on the rise, so it would have been nice to snag a win against them.
They need to bring back Dominique Wilkins and Spud Webb. Those are the guys I really miss for the Atlanta Hawks.
There's been a few players in between those eras there.
A little bit. Little bit. All right, the Sixers in action tonight. We'll update you, of course, on the next podcast with how the Sixers do in that game. Tonight, over to the National Football League, another disgusting, with a big capital D, disgusting loss against the Chicago Bears, the Black Friday game. Of course, at the Link, it was at home. The fans were booing the Eagles. Not much offense once again. Defense, where were they? The running game for the Chicago Bears went absolutely berserk in that game. They lost at the Link, 24-15. Is it time to panic in Philadelphia, JT?
It's never a bad time to panic, as far as I'm concerned.
Never a bad time to panic.
What I
so
mean,
that's a yes.
You asked me if I went Black Friday shopping. Why would I go Black Friday shopping when I can sit on my couch and be miserable watching the Eagles get absolutely gashed by the Bears?
But that was in the afternoon. You had the whole morning.
It looks like the Bears are pretty good this year. I mean, it looks like they're really starting to put together. But my goodness, I mean, the Eagles' defensive front got absolutely gashed. I mean, they got dominated up front. 2 100-yard rushers, DeAndre Swift, the ex-Eagle, Kyle Monangai, the rookie, both went over 100 yards, both found the end zone. You know, Caleb Williams, to me, you know, as bad as the Eagles play, the real turning point of that game was they got the touchdown. Of course, Jake Elliott has to go and miss the extra point, so they're down 10-9. On the ensuing possession, the Jalix Hunt gets that interception on Caleb Williams, and you're thinking, okay, here we go. They're going to go in. They're going to go ahead for the go-ahead score. And then
Jalen Hurts.
You get Hurts fumbles on the tush-push, and then that was it. They never recovered from that. It never felt like that the defense was going to get the stop that they need. And even if they did, what was the offense going to do? I mean, they
Nothing.
just, you know, again,
nothing.
Here's a team that was up 21-0 late in the first half against the Cowboys, ready to go, 9-2, right?
Yep.
At that point, they completely sputter in the second half and lose that game to the Cowboys. And then you think, okay, well, they're at home on Black Friday playing the Bears. The Bears are a good team. Like, if you know, the Eagles are going to be up for this game. And they were
for Black Friday. I mean, it was
all
in their favor.
And it was like they picked up right where they left off.
Yep.
It's like the second half of the Cowboys game carried right over to the game on Black Friday. And I just don't get it. I mean, I know, look, I guess they're favored coming up on Monday night against the Chargers, but
shouldn't be.
I mean, my goodness,
it shouldn't be.
What do you expect? I mean, what are we to expect from 1 week to the next? I mean, this division is back in play now. I mean, the Cowboys are surging. They got was it 3 wins in a row? They got back-to-back wins over the Eagles and the Chiefs. And all of a sudden, we're talking about top seed with the Eagles. Now we're like, are they going to be able to hold on and win the division? We've been talking about, you and I have been talking about this, about how eerily similar this feels to 2023 when they went.
Yep.
They were 10-1. They lost that game to the 49ers. And
Epic
then
collapse.
Everything went downhill. And I tell you what, if they lose on Monday night to the Chargers, I mean, it's not going to feel like 2023. It is going to be 2023 all over again. Because, again, if they lose to the Chargers, I think you can officially say that this season is falling apart, and fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Earlier this week, I mean, you had a couple of the Eagles beat writers even saying flat out, right now, the best team in probably the NFC. It's hard to say it, but it's probably the Dallas Cowboys right now, the way they've been on a tear the past couple of games. And in this game, I mean, a couple of stats that just stand out. Obviously, the most rushing yards given up in a game since 1973 for the Eagles, 281 rushing yards for the Chicago Bears, and the first time the Bears had 2 100-yard rushers in a game since 1985. The game should have been more of a blowout by the Bears than what it probably was with the way their offense played and how bad the defense was in for the Eagles. But, I mean, I don't know which direction you're going to go. I mean, do you take the play calling from Kevin Patullo and say, hey, look, we're going to take you off of this for a week, see what happens here against the Chargers Monday night? But that's not half the story. They've still been that one-dimensional team. They can't get the running game started. If they're not going to get the running game started, JT, this is going to go nowhere. It's going to go absolutely nowhere this season for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, it isn't going to go anywhere until the offensive line starts playing better, and I guess they have to get healthier. But there are some guys. I mean, Landon Dickerson was a Pro Bowler, and he's been really hurting them. So is Cam Jurgens. We got into this last week. I mean, there isn't anybody from that offensive line who's playing better than they were last year. And whether that's just that they've regressed or they're banged up, I mean, Landon Dickerson, I guess I can see, Landon Dickerson. I mean, that's a guy, if you remember, he got hurt in that preseason game and then kind of worked his way to get ready for opening week. And then he's been hurt. And I think that's just sort of snowballed as the season has gone on. And, Juergens, again, he's another one. Lane Johnson's now been out. We've talked about Tyler Steen's deficiencies at right guard. Until that gets fixed, I don't think it's really going to matter. I mean, to me, there's got to be a way, though. I think if you have a good offensive coordinator that can recognize those weaknesses, he would be able to
make adjustments,
kind of scheme around that. But again, if the offensive line's not playing well, and Hurts isn't playing that well either, even if the offensive line is playing well, is Hurts going to make the right decisions right now? It's really frustrating to watch. But that being said, the NFL is still, to me, the NFL is still a week-to-week league. So, I mean, for all we know, we could see, now the Cowboys got to turn right around and play the Lions coming up on Thursday night. And, if they lose that and the Eagles find a way to beat the Chargers, then the Eagles kind of are back up in control again. But, I mean, you look at, everyone was talking about the Rams, who are still probably the best team in the NFC, but they went and lost to the Panthers on Sunday. I feel like every team in the NFC is flawed, and you could probably say there isn't a team in the NFL, whether they're the top seed or whether they're one of the lower seeds, that doesn't have some sort of flaw to them. I don't look at any team right now in the NFL, and especially in the NFC, as being unbeatable. So there's time for the Eagles to get it right, but I don't know about you. I'm starting to lose confidence that they're going to figure out a way to get it right.
The second straight game that the defense, too, has given up over 400 yards of total offense. That is not a good stat to keep on going. I mean, that was the best part of the Eagles' season so far, was their defense, and that's kind of been nowhere to be found here the past two games, too. So,
right. I mean, what
does the longer week, is that going to help them here on Monday night?
I mean, maybe. I thought maybe it does help them. Hard to say. I mean, but where's that defense that we saw against the Packers and the Lions?
Yeah.
I mean, that looked like an all-world defense, and for the most part, they held it together in the first half against Dallas, but they're really getting gashed in the run game. I mean, you really started to see it in that Dallas game, with Javonte Williams. They really starting to open some running lanes, and then the Bears from the get-go, they just between Swift and Monangai,
shredding them.
Just whenever they needed something, and it looked like they were running this pretty much the same type of run play every play. When they did hand the ball off, they were blocking to one side, and then the Swift or Monangai would make the cut back and run kind of behind the seal-off blocks there. Boy, it was just really, really discouraging to watch that.
What happens if the Eagles do lose Monday night to the Chargers? And not just lose, get blown out again on Monday night?
Well, I don't think they're going to get blown out. I'll say this. I think it's definitely a could-lose game. What happens there, I think they're in real trouble. I think they're in real trouble. In 2023, it started to implode when they were 10-1. So they had just enough runway left that they had built up enough wins that they could still get into the playoffs. I mean, I guess I would find it hard to believe that they wouldn't get into the playoffs at this point. You would think they should at least be able to beat the Raiders and the Commanders at least one. So that now you're looking at 10 wins. I don't know. Worst case scenario, like 10-7. That should probably get you into the playoffs, but we'll see. Let's give it one more week before we jump ship.
Bring out the brown paper bags again.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to need it. You and
me
both. Get
your brown paper bag ready.
Yeah, you and me both. We'll see what happens Monday night against the Chargers. Over to the AFC. Man, oh man, it's getting tight in that AFC North. The Ravens snapped their 5-game winning streak against Cincinnati on Turkey Day. 5 turnovers for the Baltimore Ravens. Not a good game for them. That sets up the ultimate showdown with, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who also lost this week. They are now tied atop of that division for the big matchup coming up this weekend, JT.
So what do you think? 8-9 wins that division? Wins the AFC
I'd say
North?
So. Hands down. Oh, hands down,
It
yes.
could be.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. The way these teams are heading, I mean, there is no team in that division right now that actually want to win that division, whether it be the Steelers or the Ravens, albeit, but there is no team that wants to win that division. On a side note, though, it is Aaron Rodgers' 42nd birthday today. Did you wish him a happy birthday?
Happy birthday, Aaron Rodgers. Did you get him
happy
something?
Birthday. No, I got him nothing.
Did you send him a text?
Same thing I've gotten him for 42 years now. 0 things.
Did you send him a birthday tweet?
No.
Okay.
Nope. Nope,
Neither did
I.
I forgot. I forgot it was his birthday.
What did you see from that Ravens game, though, with the 5 turnovers, snapping that 5-game winning streak? Of course, Jamar Chase, a big game for Cincinnati in that game. And, of course, the big story, Mr. Burrow coming back. He hasn't played since week 2. He had a pretty decent game, throwing for 261 yards, 2 touchdowns in that one as well.
Yeah, they've really the Ravens have been really leaky with the turnovers now recently. Yeah, obviously the Bengals got a real boost with Joe Burrow being back in the lineup, but yeah, that if you're a Ravens fan, seeing them turn the ball over 5 times, and I don't know, I really thought that when Lamar Jackson came back, it was going to be all systems go for them, and they had won a bunch of games in a row to get to 6-5. I think they had won 5 in a row, but I don't know, man. It just doesn't look like they have it this year. I mean, they could still win the division. I'm not going to say that they're toast by any stretch, because they still get 2 matchups with the Steelers. But yeah, I mean Cincinnati, and now with Burrow back, I mean, I guess you got to think Cincinnati might have an outside shot here.
Long shot.
I mean, they could have something to say about the division. Again, maybe too tall of a task for them to win the division, but they could certainly spoil things for everyone.
Yeah, not the best game from Lamar Jackson either there, buddy. 3 of 5 of those turnovers he caused in that game. They also went, 6 consecutive drives without even scoring in that game, too.
Yeah, they got that. You thought they got that early touchdown from Derrick Henry, and you thought, that they were going to, try to take it over, but again, those turnovers. I mean, you can't have that this time of year. And I kind of thought, all right, well, if you're a Steelers fan, you're feeling pretty good because the Bengals take it to the Ravens on Thanksgiving night, and you're thinking the Steelers have a big test at home with the Bills, and and I think for the most part the Steelers have played pretty well at home this year. And they had a decent first half. They were up 7-3, but man, oh man, you talk about, we were just talking about the Eagles getting gashed in the run game by the Bears. I mean, same thing. I mean, the Bills just kind of ran all over the Steelers. I mean, James Cook was gashing them for some really big gains. And it's just the offense just wasn't there. And now you got Aaron Rodgers kind of throwing his receivers under the bus, and I guess when the fans were booing, we're taking a page from Eagles fans. Steelers fans taking a page from Eagles fans, booing their team off the field too. Yeah, that second half, that was really, really ugly.
Soft run defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It showed in that one. Rodgers, too. I mean, is Rodgers even 100% wearing that brace on his broken left wrist? He didn't look efficient in that game. At one point, you had Mason Rudolph coming in, filling in for Rodgers. I think it was for a series, throwing that pick. Rodgers, 10 of 21 for just 117 yards in that. Buffalo's rushing yards, 249 versus 58, of course, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not what the Steelers wanted, but now it's all tied up in that AFC North. Also, big news. Did you see the big news from Pittsburgh today?
I did not.
It's big news. Darius Slay and the Pittsburgh Steelers have parted ways. So
that's right.
Will Darius Slay be making a comeback to Philadelphia?
I don't know. Big play, Slay coming back to Philly.
He still wants to play. Still wants to play. It's just not going to be for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not exactly sure what happened there. And in Pittsburgh, he seemed to be having an okay season there in the secondary, but that just came out a couple hours ago. And Darius Slay's going to be looking elsewhere here for a team. Could be back with the Philadelphia Eagles. Who knows how he does here this week.
Well, I guess you have to weigh it. Would Darius Slay at cornerback 2 be better than what they've put out there so far?
I would say so.
Is it better than Adoree Jackson and Michael Carter II? I don't know. Maybe you could make an argument that it wouldn't be any worse.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. Maybe Slay does. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason he got. Maybe he just doesn't have it. I don't know. Maybe the Steelers have been playing a little bit better defensively before that game on Sunday, and I hadn't paid close enough attention to see maybe his snap count has gone down and he's fallen out of favor. But how about that? Maybe big play Slay back. And there's issues out in L.A. with the Chargers and Mekhi Becton. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, and I think he's on a short-term deal, so maybe he could get cut and we could have a reunion with Mekhi Becton next year in Philadelphia.
Once you leave that city of brotherly love, JT, there's no other place you'd want to play.
Why would you want to go anywhere else?
That's exactly
why
right.
Go
That's
anywhere
exactly
else?
Right.
Right?
That's exactly right. Big showdown, though, in the AFC North. Can't wait for that Steelers-Ravens game. We'll see what happens here over the weekend. But we got a big couple of shows that are upcoming. Once again, if you didn't join us at the beginning, you didn't catch it. Coming up this week, we got the Flyers TV play-by-play announcer, legendary Jim Jackson. He's going to be on our show coming up this week. Next week, we're going to have the Hershey Bears radio play-by-play announcer, Zach Fish, also on the show. So we're lining up the guests, just trying to bring them to you, get a little different insight than what we can give you. They're closer to the game, so we're excited to that. Just make sure you like, subscribe, share. We are growing subscribers by the hour, JT. So this thing is kind of rolling in the right direction here, I think.
Oh, hey, tell them about after Zach Fish. Tell them who we got coming up after that. Tell them about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no, we ain't gonna go there. Let's not start those rumors. Let's not start those rumors, JT.
Did I get that bad info?
We start saying we're going to have Taylor Swift. We're going to have about 3 million subscribers here, and we ain't going to be able to fulfill that, and they'll just be dying off, man. That's not going to be looking good for business.
Yeah, and standing outside of our houses with pitchforks when they realize that we didn't give them Taylor Swift.
We're going to be like Kevin Patullo getting his house being egged at the end of the night. We don't want any of that.
Sorry, I was just joking. No Tay-Tay.
Yeah, no Tay-Tay. No Tay-Tay. All right, buddy. Well, you enjoy the sports here this week, JT. We will talk again here towards the end of the week, but enjoy those sports, man.
All right, man. Talk to you soon, brother.